Hi guys, thanks for waiting. My name's Holly Hazel. I'm with Hazel Hair Co. here in Columbia. I started my business about 2.5 years ago and I am from Ashland, Missouri. I've been in the career for almost 14 years. And so today I'm going to talk to you guys about sensory-friendly haircuts. So the reason why I'm tied into this community is because all through school, K through 12, I was in special education class. I relate to the community. I understand how hard it can be and difficult to go do something as big as getting your hair cut done. So for me, just getting to build a relationship for the client that comes in, you might not even get their haircut service done. It's building and establishing a relationship so that they feel comfortable. I don't feel like I'm a teacher. I would like to say more of an educator on this. This is something you should have been taught way back in the day. It's all about patience and human decency. I feel like in cosmetology school, there was no training or anything to make me feel comfortable or make others feel comfortable within the service. Some opportunities I've had to help me has been working as a paraprofessional at an elementary school in a special education classroom, as well as a support specialist at Unlimited Opportunities in Boonville as well. It's still working with the community and taking them out to do different things to help establish doing different tasks. So you might be wondering what you can do during your services, and you can explain anything before you're about to do. If somebody sits down, I want to have consent to touch them. I want to make sure they know what's coming next, so I want to make sure that I'm talking with them, that they're understanding the process. Do you give me consent to touch your hair now? This is what I'm going to be doing. Offer control to your client because that's something big that they don't have a lot. And you want to make sure that they're feeling in control in the scenario. Offer to take breaks. That's a big one. If you notice they're getting stressed out, fidgety, crying, maybe just getting angry, that's a time for you to step out and let the caretaker stay with them and figure that out. I brought some different tools that I have. At the Chicago Hair Show, I purchased these sensory cut haircut scissors. It's by Queen. It has these two little balls on the edge here so you don't cut yourself or the client, which is really nice because you're gonna have fidgeters, you're going to be moving around. This outfit would not be acceptable for a day I have a sensory-friendly haircut. Make sure you're prepared to get on the ground. You're gonna have to be weebling and wobbling around. I also have these sensory-friendly haircut clippers and trimmers. I'm gonna pass them around. You can turn them on and hear how quiet they are. Clippers are a scary experience as well as somebody's coming towards you and you don't know them. Yeah, that can be a lot if your trimmers sound like a weed eater. You want to honor the boundaries between you and this client. It's really important that they make sure that you're a safe space and that they feel comfortable. You might have a client who can't speak, is nonverbal. I like to still interact with them. I'm still going to ask them questions they're not going to be able to probably answer, and that's where you can include the caretaker. So I will still ask the question to the client knowing they're probably not going to respond, and then that's where the caretaker comes in and I can establish a relationship with them as well. Just having support and patience. The fidgets, weighted capes, safe shears, mannequin head, and hairstyling toy kit is what I like to use to show them what's coming next. You can let them hold on to the scissors. I like to say first we'll be brushing your hair, then we'll be doing your haircut. And a lot of the time they do not like to have their hair washed or blow dried, but you can add this into the lineup as well. I like to have my mannequin head out and her cape on. That way I can demonstrate what I'm about to do. With sensory-friendly client haircuts, mist water bottles are where it's at. You don't want to do a regular spray bottle because they are not going to enjoy that. I don't enjoy that, so keep that in mind. Some of the sensitivities are touch. Tangles, they're not going to want you to touch them. It's going to be uncomfortable, so start with the ends of their hair and work up to the top. You also want to tell them about hair care at home, clarifying shampoos, leave-in conditioners, anything that can help them with the process at home.
Do you feel like the clarifying shampoo is better disconnected for these guests because it helps with the tangles more?
Tangles, build up. My sensory-friendly haircut comes with a wash and a clarifying, but a lot of the time I don't have clients that do that. They don't want to be touched. They don't want to be wet, although sometimes I really want to get in there and scrub their head. But another one is consenting, asking permission to touch your client. That's just one of the biggest things for me. That way you know that they're feeling okay. They might have sensories to loose hairs being touched in general, or the comb going against their scalp, or the clippers. You may experience some flinching and pulling away during the service. You can give the client reassurance that you're not going to hurt them. You can say it over and over. Sometimes you may feel like you're a broken record, but just establishing that so that they know is an option. The goal is to build a relationship, to have them feel safe and relaxed. For me, it's not going to be a huge money-making business. This is something that more of I just want to give to these clients is I want to get you in my chair. I want to get you in my room. Sometimes we might not make it through a haircut, and that's okay. I'm not going to charge them for that service. Just getting them in there and having them achieve the task is really big for me. So that's what I focus on. Fear is a big reason that a client could be struggling with their service. PTSD due to previous experiences. They might have a client or a stylist who's not very warm and welcoming. The atmosphere was probably loud. The music was super loud. So having an individual suite for me has been really nice for the sensory service. Haircuts. Does anyone have any questions so far? Yes.
So like a lot of these things, and they talk about this with like sensory issues, we all can relate to them to a little extent. So I guess I'll have some clients where I'll notice they might be having some sensory issues. How do you initiate that if they aren't going into the service they just came in for a service and we notice that they might have some issues? How do you create making it a more comfortable experience?
So I definitely feel like body language can be very loud. It's up to us to read their emotions and see how they're feeling. And I just feel like going in and asking if they have any sensitivities to start with. It can be scary to ask people. I also like to demonstrate now. I have different weighted capes, different style of capes. Would that make you feel more comfortable? Would you want to try them on? Just trying to ease the situation. I think just a lot of communication with the client.
How do you feel? Okay, so you have a client that has sensory. Are you talking more to the client that's sitting in your chair, or are you talking more to the caregiver, or does it, like, when do you make that call?
So if they're nonverbal, that's where I will definitely go to the caretaker. Again, with kind of body language, I'll look at the client and ask them questions, and maybe it's just they just don't know. They don't know how to communicate that with you. That's when I'll turn to the caretaker and we'll start to have the conversation about the consultation, because that's also huge. Just making sure that everybody knows what's coming next, what your intentions are, what you want this service to look like. But also you cannot be a perfectionist while doing these services, because that's just not, it's just not going to happen. And that's okay. That is okay.
If their caretaker is a bit of a perfectionist, how do you explain to them that this is more for the experience of your client and not so much the result of the client?
Yeah, so a lot of caretakers will actually come in with a panic of their client not being able to make it through a service. So I just go in and still talking, communicating with them as far as they want this to be a straighter line. They want this, but suppose you have a client who can't sit up straight or they can't maintain sitting in a chair. That's where it's going to come down to you saying you are the professional. You're doing what you can to get through this service for your client and you.
Would you say that patience is key in this?
Yeah.
When you're having those kinds of conversations and maybe...
Definitely, because sometimes I think caretakers don't realize how hard the job is whenever you are trying to maneuver and get this service done for your client. It can be a lot. So they may have expectations for you, but you also have to set like your boundary of what you're doing and making sure that they understand.
So during the consultation, really set that expectation.
Yeah, definitely.
Love that.
Any more questions? Okay. Some other sensitivities are smells and sounds. So you may want to not do hairspray, color chemicals, strong scented shampoo and conditioner. Your perfume and lotions can also matter. Clipper side smells awful to me. Just keep that in mind when you're cleaning your utensils, maybe before they come in, to maybe do that outside before that they come in. Perms, stank. The sounds, the buzzing clippers, blow dryers, loud atmospheres, other stylists walking around, it can be a lot. So just try to keep in mind if you don't have a suite that it's going to be a lot and it is scary, and just to have patience with your clients.
So maybe booking them on a slower day or a day that's not like your routine.
Yeah, I'd like to start having like sensory Sundays where it's quiet in the salon. There's not a lot of people there. That does come with your day off, but that's something that I would like to provide for the community because I think it would really help them with the experience. Visuals is another sensitivity. Bright lights are overstimulating. Repetitive or fast movements can cause anxiety. You can go to touch them and they're gonna fidget a lot because you're coming at them, they don't know you. It's scary. Mirrors can be a positive experience. They like to start to look at themselves. The more you build them up, the more you can see their confidence is building, which is really cool and rewarding for you as well, because they may not have felt that before. And so you're starting that for them. Capes are a fun experience. They can also cause a little fear. My weighted capes have pockets in them, so they are able to put their arms out. They have fidget toys that will help keep them busy. You're taller than their chair, so what you want to do is get on their level. It helps a lot. I'm really tall. I feel like that can be intimidating, but I do have a soft voice and I try to be as warm as possible when speaking with my clients.
I do have a question.
Yes.
When you are speaking to somebody that is autistic or anything like that, should I still have the same voice with them? Or
Yeah, so I feel like that is really important as well. They want to be treated their age. You may look at them and because they have a disability, you might think you need to like baby talk them or this or that. That's not the case. They want to be treated as their age, as a regular human being. So it's really important to stay you, use your voice, but still get on their level, do things that will make them more comfortable.
try and put yourself in their shoes?
Yeah, do that. Okay. Body awareness. Clients can struggle with sitting upright. They may not be flexible. I'm going to be flexible with my sensory shears. You can ensure to remind them that they don't get cut with your shears. You're going to have to do your best. Someone may come in a wheelchair. This used to stress me out. I worked at Regis. There were 18 stylists crammed together. What do you do? What do you do with them? You move your chair, you make room, you accommodate. That's what you do. So that stinks if you're in a non-wheelchair accessible salon. The Weighted Cape, I follow the Weighted Cape on TikTok. You can also follow them, and they do their journeys with special education community, and they record all of their experiences, but I also have to recommend the Weighted Cape as well. They have adults and children's.
And you can change the weight of them, right? Does the weight slide into it?
Yeah, which is nice. And a lot of the time the weighted capes are gonna be more for like your autistic kiddos, adults. I do have a Down syndrome client. I did put it on her. She's not a fan. It's a little too much. So more of like your autistic community, that's a big one. Or ADHD, not being able to sit and feeling like they flutter.
Not be too heavy for a little kid.
So I have a 3-pound one for little kids, and to me, I feel like it's still a little heavy, so I just have to go in and remember it's not gonna work for everyone.
I felt like it felt like a hug.
Yeah.
Like I just felt.
It just grounds you. Some tips to help you feel more comfortable on offering the cape is I have a couple different cape options. Would you like to try one? I have a 4-pound weight or a 6-pound weight. Offer the weight that seems correct. Weighted vests can help you relax during the service. It helps add a more calming experience. You can ask if they prefer a lighter or a snugger cape. I have both. You can also offer them to any client, not just in the special needs community. You should avoid saying, this is for people with autism and anxiety. Don't assume that someone needs it, still ask it. That way they can decide for themselves if they want it or not. No need to over-explain. Make them feel like you're talking to them as a normal person. Speaking to them in a childish or fake voice, don't do it. Try your best not to do it. You may start, but then try to recognize that. Autism spectrum disorder, I want you to start thinking, instead of thinking your client's being difficult, I want you to try to shift your mindset to they're having a hard time. I want you to put yourself in their shoes, and I want you to understand what they're going through. Even though it might not be hard to you, that's something for them that's going to be more difficult. Yeah, so that's my first class. Thank you for coming.